guys, Purple Plant Lady here again. I'm just going to have a little short video about easy houseplants. So I saw a lot of videos about the easiest houseplants you can get, but a lot of them listed ones that I wasn't very interested in. For example, the spider plant, the sansevieria, or the mother-in-law's tongue, the ZZ plant. Now, those plants are beautiful, but they don't really fit my personality and taste as much as some other ones. So I have about 5 houseplants that I'm going to talk about that I think are easy and also easy to care for, really pretty, good first time houseplant plants. Okay, so the first plant I have here, which was featured in another one of my videos where it won the Easy Houseplant Award, is my rubber plant. Now this is a variegated ruby rubber plant. There's another one that's more green. It looks like a watercolor. It's just a variegated rubber plant. This one is called a ruby rubber plant. And so she's been aptly named Ruby. And the reason why I chose this plant is because basically you just water it and let it dry out, and this plant will perform. It will grow and grow quickly and really large. And it's also very attractive and really low maintenance plant. I just leave it in some bright light, and I have a grow light, and it's next to a window with the grow light, and it just does well. So the only thing that's tricky about the plant would probably be the lighting. If you don't have, if it's, I wouldn't put it in a low light situation, but it probably will still look good. It just might not grow as fast as when it's in higher light. So the only thing I would do differently with this, right now I have it in a pot that I got from Target, and my husband drilled a hole in it for me, just a 1 drainage hole, and I don't think that it really drains. So that's the only thing. I don't want to overwater it because this doesn't need a lot of watering. It needs to dry out a little bit before you water it again. And so if anything, I will repot it into a pot that has a little bit more drainage holes. But for right now, it's looking good, and that's my first easy house plant recommendation. Okay, for the second plant, you've probably heard so many people talk about this plant before, but it really cannot be overstated. The pothos. It doesn't really matter what variety you get. There's just a few differences. This is the neon pothos that I just received, and the reason why I chose this plant, even though I just got it not long ago, is because this plant looks like it grows in a day. And I watered it once, and I won't water it again until it dries out a little bit. But it just, I got it, and these weren't unfurled. This one was unfurled. This one was tighter, and it is unfurled already, and it just looks bigger and wider. Oop, and I just got some water on me because I learned something new. I think it's called gutteration. You know, plants transpire, so when they take the water up from the soil, they release the water back out. They use some of it for, you know, their biological functions, but gutteration is when you see the little, I don't know if you can see, I don't see it because I just knocked one off, but little drops of water on the tips of the leaf is called gutteration. So the plants will do that when they're taking water through the soil, and it expels it out through their leaves. And a lot of my plants have done that. I think they do it at night, and don't ask me why. But it's a plant function, and this plant is easy and attractive. Oh, I just felt another drop of water. So, and I haven't watered it, you know, in like 2 days. So that's definitely water coming out through the tips of the leaves. But as you can see, this plant is really, really full, and it's growing very fast. And I just set it in medium light, and I don't expect any problems with this plant. I have 2 other ones. I'll show you the other one in a minute. I have a marble queen, which I put in the kitchen, and I have an enjoy, which I'll show you next, so you can just see. There's lots of variety too. That's another reason why these plants are so much fun. They're easy, and they come in a variety of colors. Well, a variety of patterns, let's say that. there is um, a golden queen pothos, um, or golden pothos, not golden queen, which is green with yellow variegation. But this one right here is the enjoy pothos. Now, the one thing I'll say about this is a lovely plant. It's really pretty, but it grows very, very slow. I mean, very slowly. I'm not sure if it, I don't even think it matters about the light. It just grows slow. But it's very easy to take care of. It's looked like this from the day I got it, like 3 weeks ago. I just repotted it, and I don't even know if it's it's growing. I've seen one new shoot, and the leaves think they're getting bigger, but it just takes a very long time. This must be a new leaf too. It just takes a long time, and I want it to vine. So if you don't mind waiting, this plant is easy to take care of. It's just very slow growing, and it is a pothos, but it has smaller leaves than the other one you just saw. These leaves that look like brown tips on that, that's how I got it from the nursery. So I don't know if they over fertilized it. That usually happens sometimes with that, or maybe they didn't water it as much. But it's been really easy to take care of. I haven't noticed any more brown spots. There's only 2 leaves left. I didn't want to cut them off because they still have plenty of surface area left, but I did cut off a few. All right, so I move this one. This one's really heavy. Like, this plant is just... Sorry about that. Okay, and next, I want that to fall. In addition to the rubber plant and the pothos, there's a plant that people often get in addition to the pothos plant, which I think is pretty easy too. So far, so good. I haven't had any problems with this plant. Is this philodendron. So there's lots of varieties of philodendron, but this is a philodendron Brazil. This plant also does a lot of gutteration. Always has, like, usually water on the tips of these pointy leaves. And I just love the variation in the leaves. And even though it's green, I can handle variegated green. So I like looking at that. So this plant grows pretty quickly. It always has some new leaf coming out. There's one right there. I repotted it. And these right here are all new leaves. That one. And it's just a really pretty plant. And it's going to trail really soon. And I will repot it eventually when it gets a little bit larger. But this is a very easy plant. I just water this when the top layer gets dry. Again, this is one of those pots from Target where it only has one drainage hole. So I'm really careful when I water plants in these pots because I don't want them to be sitting in water, and I don't know if the water is coming out quick enough because it's only one hole. And I never ever see drain off from the bottom. So I just make sure I just water it when it's dry. And this plant is awesome. It's just really pretty, really attractive, really easy. Okay, and for the next plant, it's 1, 2, 3. The fourth plant that I have. Well, actually, it's the fifth plant. Oops, I just lost a sticky stake. I'll get that in a minute. The only thing about these little sticky stakes is that they stick to the leaves of your other plants if you have them close together. That's not fun. Okay, so this is the, I think this is aglaonemia. This is a Chinese evergreen. And I never really heard about these plants before I started collecting houseplants. I'd heard of a lot of the other ones, like the rubber plants, the philodendron, pothos. I've heard of them all. But I never heard of a Chinese evergreen. And this plant, I think this plant is like like, you know, you fix it and forget it meals. You just sit it there and, you know, when it's just dry, you water it, but really, there's nothing else. It doesn't really need a lot of light. You might dust the leaves every now and then, but it just looks good. It grows at its own little pace. And you won't regret this one. This is a really pretty plant. And I like the fact that it comes in this color where it's not just solid green. They have solid green ones. They have I think it's solid green. They have like with green and white, and lots of different colors and variations of this plant. So whatever your decor or whatever your tastes are, you'll be able to um, find an easy care plant. So these have been my top easy plants that I have found since I started collecting house plants. That it's just really, 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 really easy. I don't do anything but look at them, admire them, and water them when they need to be watered. And that's basically it. So any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, videos you guys would like to see that would really help, let me know. And I will talk to you guys again soon.